game, home opener, commemorating our inaugural team of 10 years ago, our 10-year history now, and against Akron, a team that has a new coaching staff, new philosophy, both offensively and defensively. Certainly, Coach Bowden has gone in there, and you look at Coach Bowden and what he's done traditionally with his family, the roots, and all that stuff that go back to all the championships that they've won. Him, his brothers, and everything. You look at guys like Coach Chuck Amato, who coached at Florida State for years, head coach at NC State, and you look at guys like Terrell Buckley that played the game at the highest level, and certainly you're looking at a staff that's committed to making sure that the culture changes in a hurry, and it shows in the way they play with their intensity, with their effort levels, and they had a game similar to ours where a lot of turnovers early made the game something where it got away from them early. So certainly looking forward to our first home game, playing in our newly enclosed stadium, and it should be a heck of an environment. Questions?
With Gary Dyson now playing today, how much do you expect to use him this week?
Yeah, you could get out of football shape in a hurry. And the thing is, while waiting for his final ruling, he's relegated to really just being a student and not being allowed to be around the building and training with us and everything else. So there's some catching up to do. Certainly, he's a talented young man that we have great expectations for. He's going to have a role, and pretty quickly. How much will he have on Saturday will be determined between today's film study and tomorrow's practice.
Akron seems to be a pass-happy team, very similar to Duke. Mm-hmm. The same aspects of they throw the ball a lot. Mm-hmm. What similarities have you seen between them on film when you're getting ready for this game? Mm-hmm.
There are some similarities. I think the passing game and passing structures for the quick game are pretty much global nowadays. Guys have similar routes, similar pass concepts. They're different in that they are a tempo offense, a very high tempo offense. They have a lot of open sets. They certainly have a lot of athletic guys on that roster. They've revamped that roster in a hurry. And even though they are pass happy, or I would say they pass the ball often, game one, you look at at what they did at North Alabama, you look at what he's done historically, they commit themselves to the run as well. So they're going to take what you give them. They're going to try to identify the soft spots in your defense, whether it be in the passing game, the run game, and they're going to attack it. So with only having one game on tape, certainly got to prepare for what they've shown, but you have to prepare for everything that they have done in their history. So their quarterback's a real good player, coming over from Stephen F. Austin, a senior. He's certainly done some really good things in a short time. They hit 3 real big plays against Central Florida. That's something obviously that you always want to be good against. So certainly we've studied them really, really hard and have to have a couple good days of practice to make sure that we're on point on Saturday.
Akron allowed 206 rushing yards against UCF. Are you going to make it a point to emphasize the running game this week?
Well, we always emphasize the running game. We've gone each and every week emphasizing the running game, and certainly anything else that the defense does give us. I expect to be much better against the run. Obviously, when you get hit by something on a particular game, the next game you're going to have some things to address those things. Central Florida has got a real good stable of running backs, a real good offensive line. I think as that game wore on, Akron felt more and more comfortable, and you could see it, in the box score. They started tightening up and being a lot better on first down and certainly on third down and getting off the field. So, we have confidence in a lot of things that we're doing and polishing up some other things. And, we expect to be very aggressive on offense.
What do you want to see? What do you want to see from the team as far as bouncing back from last week? What are you looking for?
Yeah, the very first thing you want to see is correcting the things that you can correct. I would say that you can prevent. You could prevent turning the ball over, okay? You can prevent snapping the ball poorly to cost yourself a field goal and getting a field goal blocked. You could do those things, and and especially early in the season, just being sound and preventing mistakes oftentimes leads to winning football games. So I want to make sure we continue to play clean football. We did for the most part from a penalty standpoint, but the critical errors involving ball security would be the number one thing that was addressed both on film day and, of course, practice so far. And it's probably the biggest thing that needs to be corrected. Aside from that, technically, I would say mechanically, there's some improvement to be made. Some plays we'd like to have back from last week. And sometimes, you got to realize that there's some pretty good players that are going to make a play against you. Those things you got to keep working at and get better at. But again, just to reiterate, the first part, we want to correct the things that we can control completely. And that's, of course, the turnovers and any penalty situations.
Lucas, Greater focus,
Mm-hmm.
anticipation, I guess. What is that?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Ball security is one of the most mysterious things, in football nowadays. You find yourself working. It was such a big focal point at camp. That the results, on game day last week were a little bit surprising. But you never stop emphasizing. I don't think there's a single drill, and I'd be shocked if any staff in the country has a drill where ball security isn't a priority. The problem is it gets you when it gets you. That one moment where you get it away from your body or when you don't carry it high and tight enough is when that thing comes out. So that being said, the security of the football, squeezing the points, keeping it high and tight, those things have to be at the forefront of our ball handling at all times.
You've had a few days since the loss. How well are they doing it? I don't know if you want to put it behind them. I think they probably do. But looking forward rather than...
I think football works that way. You don't dwell on stuff. I never have as a player, never have as a coach. You take it on Sunday, you clean it up, you learn your lessons, and you go forward. It's never been a boo-hoo session, never will be. It's football. It's one chapter in a book, and now we're on to chapter 2, one that they're really excited at getting after.
Same with a win or a loss?
Same with a win or a loss. You have to. You want to, of course, you're going to be ups and downs in the season emotionally, but you want to try to maintain that part of it, the business part of it, the process part of it, as even keeled as possible, because it's the nature of the sport now. You got to find a way to win close ones, and got to find a way to get over tough losses when they do happen. So when they do, honestly, you'd like to get over big wins as soon as possible as well, because they certainly could affect you the next week.
We do have 3 questions, Ms. Chairman.